What do you do if you're a recently married couple and you're moving from Los Angeles to Dallas, Texas, and you want to buy a home because you just found out that you're pregnant with twins? This is the story of two young millennials who learned how to compromise and combine their individual tastes in homes as well as their budgeting styles because they needed to make room for a growing family. In this interview, they're going to discuss not getting catfished by the home photos that you see online, how they debated 20% down versus 10% down, and what they ultimately ended up with, how to navigate a home inspection when you're buying a home that's been flipped, making sure they haven't put lipstick on that pig. And they tell how actually, it was more him who was doing this hardcore spreadsheet work. And they took all that, plus the new budgeting things that they both had learned, they added that with their rock star support team and all the guidance that they got from them. Between their realtor and lender working together for them, all advocating for the best result for this soon-to-be really intensely growing family, Dylan and Robin felt like they had the ultimate confidence to move forward. So with twins on the way, I told them, hey, this is about the last time you're going to have that much confidence in anything. Their story's incredible, and it's a cornucopia of first-time homebuyer education. Enjoy.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
Hey, everybody. The show's called How to Buy a Home, but it's usually just me sitting here on the microphone talking. Well, not usually. This is really how you buy a home because Dylan and Robin, I'm looking at my notes. You guys closed on the home. We're recording this in December. That's why I'm wearing my holiday Santa shirt if you're watching this on YouTube. So you guys closed on November 6th. Did you get the keys that day?
We did. Same day.
Okay. So I'm really excited because we're going to talk about how you buy a home in 2025 when everyone says it's impossible and everybody Gen Z is going to rent for their entire lives. So that's my first question. Are you guys Gen Z? How old are you?
32 and 31.
So we are millennials.
Yeah.
Nice.
On the cusp.
I love going online and seeing all the talk because it's like millennials blame the boomers. And all the Gen Zs are like, what about Gen X? What the hell? And all the millennials are like, don't mess with Gen X. And then they have like a funny tirade about like how hardcore we are and original latchkey kids and drink hose water and don't mess with us. Because I feel like boomer on the show sometimes, but I'm Gen X. So I start with your biggest tip, but I want to know, are you guys like celebrating your first holiday season in your home?
Yeah, we are. We're flying the family in for Christmas. We had a very quiet Thanksgiving because we were still surrounded by boxes at that point. But we're using Christmas as the big, holiday break-in event. So, we'll have a full house for Christmas, which will be great.
That's fantastic. Okay. Putting you on the spot. Biggest tip for first-time home buyers since you millennials bought in 2025 when the whole world says it's not possible?
Go ahead, Robin. Kick us off.
I think my biggest tip is, it's overwhelming, like looking at all the homes, obviously, and like on Zillow, and there's so many different, avenues to look for homes, but see as many as you can and also like follow your gut when you do see something in person, because I think they do a really good job capturing photos these days. So I think, if your gut's saying go a different direction or something feels amiss, it likely is. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I don't know what the filter is, but I think it's unhot mess. And they put it on the camera.
Yeah.
And they reverse it. And then you go in there and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. I feel like the one word I used when we saw so many homes was, I feel like I was being catfished by homes. Because you would go in there and I'm like, this is not the home that we chose to see. But they did. Photographers these days really know what they're doing.
Catfished by homes.
Catfished by homes. Yep. That's what I'm calling it.
I've been doing this 20 years. I don't know how long catfish has been a thing, but I remember when that guy was a blog or something before,
Yeah.
or he was just viral. So I've known that. And guilty pleasure. I watched that show at the beginning until I went, oh, it's the same formula every time. But I'm so mad at myself that I've never said that. Robin, you win. Best joke of the month. Hands down.
Thank you so much.
Dylan, how about you? Did you have any, like, when someone says to you, oh my God, I just did it. What's the one thing?
If someone were to ask me that question, I think the unlock factor for me to say like, hey, we can do this was like super airtight confidence in our budget and understanding our own personal finances and making sure that we were in a position, one, to make a down payment, and two, to have money afterwards, without just zeroing out everything just to get into a home. So that was a big piece of it for me, was just really having just ultimate confidence in our own finances and understanding what was possible from that perspective. And then, I think Robin nailed it. See as many homes as possible and don't be afraid or feel bad to walk into a home with your agent or your unicorn and immediately say, this is not it, and walk out.
Yeah, we did that many times.
There's no shame in walking in and walking out.
Like, when I sit down with my clients before we go, I'm like, here's what's going on. You're going to get photographers that love the fisheye wide angle lens and make 1,500 square feet look like it's 3,200.
Yeah.
And they kind of laugh and they know that. And then I'm like, here's the deal. I'm totally fine 2 steps turning around. Like, you don't have to take 3. I'll tell you if I think, hang on, wait a minute. I've seen homes like this where there might be something, but yeah. And I think that's the part of the game HGTV doesn't show you, is that you are doing a process of elimination.
Yeah.
And there are days when you're like, well, this one's as good as the pictures. And you open the door and you're like, damn, photographer. And you turn around.
Yeah. I mean, your time is precious. That's how I looked at it. Like, I'm not wasting any time seeing the rest of the time.
Yeah, I know. I tell people all the time, if you're going to do it on your own and you do the open houses, you got to like get thick skin.
Yeah.
Because like the really nice people go in and the real estate agent is being a vulture at that point, trying to capture them as a client. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, just let them know, gotta go. I mean, I had one person tell me she told one agent, I have to pee, and left.
Left the house.
Okay. So we've had these incredible stories in 2025 that have just been insane. Like people with, $30. It was $31.25 and $120.95 that were buying $300,000, $400,000 homes. You guys bought a $550,000 home. You came to me in August and you told me at that time that you guys had $75K. So before we get into the details, I want to ask you this. With all the news this year economically, I haven't asked you guys. I have no idea what you do. You could go, dude, I have a PhD in economics. Okay. Why did you guys decide your rent was $3,250 when you asked me, what's your PITI full payment right now?
$4,400.
Okay. So there's a bunch of people out there thinking that you guys smoke crack. Probably not the people listening to this podcast if they've listened to episode 388, the rent replacement strategy. But that's a heck of a lot more. Why did you guys decide this year you wanted to do that?
Well, so we got married a little over a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And buying a house is always really high up on our list. And it was a matter of, we financed the wedding mostly by ourselves and then paid for our honeymoon by ourselves. And then it's like, we can probably buy a house. We already spent a lot of money on 2 really big things. Why don't we spend some of this money that's going to, really pay us back at one point? And there was no timing or anything that necessarily went into it. It was like, this is a must do for us in terms of our growth strategy, just as individuals, as a couple. So buying a home was just part of the timeline. And I know for me personally, with the podcast, really helped me get over just a matter of timing as an uneducated first-time home buyer and being scared of, especially going through a wave where we saw a ton of our friends buy homes in 2020 and 2021. Oh, man. With crazy low interest rates in a super competitive market, of course, still. But getting over the fact that, hey, it's never going to be that again. Just get into the market. Like, get in. It will pay you back. And we were fortunate that we can, absorb an additional, $1,200 in living expenses just for a roof over your head. But that was kind of just, let's check this off the box. And just a little background, we are in Dallas, Texas now. We moved together here from Los Angeles just under a year ago. So we accepted this transfer. Really, both of us ended up moving with jobs here as a ticket to be able to buy a home. Because David, I know you're familiar with the Southern California real estate environment. Is that it is a tough nut to crack. So Texas was our ticket in. Yeah. Really.
Do you guys work together, or was it just happenstance?
Oh God, no. We did not work together. That could never happen. We have very different work styles.
Okay. I remember about 10 years ago, my wife said, maybe I should be your assistant. And I was like, nope.
I offered to be her assistant once. She said no.
No.
You're not the first to do the exodus, California to Texas. I mean, they should build a bullet train. It's so interesting because, your big one thing you talked about is, what we would call in the industry, know your numbers. Mm-hmm. I'm really glad, I have a podcast coming up soon where I'm talking about, there are a lot of people doing first-time homebuyer webinars and seminars. And I'm like, that's cool. But right now you needed me in your ears for a little while because the universe made your timing 2025, but all your friends and everything else. And that's why with 20 years experience, and I've never had anybody 5 years later go, I shouldn't have bought a home, even if the market went down a little bit. But it's very difficult with all the noise out there. And that's why I just try to, a ton of information out there that you can do while you're walking the dog or doing dishes or whatever. Let me ask you about the $1,200, get into the specifics. I've talked about potentially lowering your contributions to other retirement accounts for people so that understanding that this piece of real estate is going to be now more like an investment because the universe dropped you guys at this timeline in 2025. Did you guys reduce contributions or were you putting $1,200 extra away?
I think it's a two-part answer. We with incurring the extra expense, if you want to call it that, the
extra investment in yourself is what we call
extra investment in yourself. There is going to be some tinkering, potentially with the budget come the new year, and how we take our money out for our investments, just retirement, 401k. Can we lower that? Do we need to lower that? So really, because we haven't made our first mortgage payment yet, which we didn't even know about that. We didn't even know about that part going into it.
I need to put that at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, 8 weeks free. Almost. Maybe 6 or 8 weeks free.
Yeah. No, it worked out to be like 8 weeks for us.
It was great.
It was great.
You closed on the 6th.
Yeah.
You had to pay 6 days.
Yeah.
And then December 1st came around, no payment.
No payment.
Not to a landlord and not to your mortgage.
Yeah. So the $1,200 really will be, as far as like our current expenses right now, fine to absorb. What we have coming in 2025 may change that calculus, and that is
2026.
2026 is we have twins coming. Robin is currently pregnant with twins.
Yeah.
So things are about to get even
let's
crazier.
do all the life right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said let's just do it all.
Yeah. So everything will change drastically. I will do my best to forecast out what that budget will look like, but I don't know if that's humanly possible or even possible with AI at this point.
Oh, wow. That was a big chortle for that one. Yeah. Wow. So just keep reminding yourself that owning a piece of property is your greatest hedge against inflation. And so as we go into whatever, also owning a piece of property is your strongest piece when you go into a recession. So much of the economic news is geared towards home owners and towards people that are trying to figure out how to live that middle-class life. that a lot of times during the recession, the fact that housing is going up is not something that's talked about, because then there's a big loud noise from people talking about the price of eggs and milk. We probably have a correction coming. You're not going to make 54% appreciation like your friends did, but you will have the stability of knowing that as the twins start to grow, you're going to be at a fixed payment.
Yeah, exactly.
And you sound like someone, Dylan, who gets pretty down and dirty with the numbers.
Oh, yes.
Every day.
That's his bread and butter.
So, Dylan, do you just sit back and let him do it?
Yes. Yeah. And then when he wants to talk about it, I'm like, oh no, getting a call. But
I have to schedule that kind of time.
Yeah, schedules
about a month in advance with her to go over it. But she locks in when she needs to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did my whole thing on budgeting apps. Do you use a budgeting app, or are you like, no, dude, I make my own?
No, I was inspired by, your encouragement to use a budgeting app, and I did sign up for an app, and it does a lot of the same things that my own personal manually built spreadsheet did, but it does it a lot faster and saves me a ton of time from manually entering expenses and stuff that, I just
the recurring stuff's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. And it just gives you such an easy, that really helps visualize month to month in a pie chart, right? I just want to see it. I want to see the trends, and I want to see what is our plus and minus, how much is our true monthly expense that, maybe when I was doing it manually, I wasn't plugging in every single time I got a coffee, right? But now that's the app's holding me accountable, right? So that kind of stuff helped. Yeah.
Which one are you using?
It's Pocket Guard.
Pocket Guard. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Robin.
I think what helped too is, I get the notifications. Woohoo. That's, the Pocket Guard notifications. Love those. But I think what helped too is, instead of seeing Dylan's beautifully Excel sheet, which gives me the heebie-jeebies sometimes, but the Pocket Guard app was lovely because I think it also helped show us of all the additional spending that maybe we don't need to be doing. So that $1,200 investment, we're okay, do we need to be spending $500 plus on Amazon a month? Maybe not. So just, those little things that I can, like Dylan said, the app actually held you accountable for that frivolous spending that could be put to better use.
Well, and, for people like you and my own wife and myself, until I got into the business, there totally is a heebie-jeebie sketch out with, when I used to see just even the green logo, and I just and here come the lines. I don't want to know. I don't understand.
Right.
But by separating it out and by pie charting it, and of course you can do that in Excel if you totally nerd out, but, it's very helpful. Mm-hmm. And then just be ready, because with the twins, just throw it out the window. Your pie chart will be on the floor of your car with Cheerios. That's where you will. I swear we found a Cheerio on the floor the other day, and our kids are 15 and 19. They just,
hey, Cheerios are good.
I know. But see, I eat Honey Nut, and it was regular. And I was like, that was from when you were 4.
That's good.
That's great.
So, what did you guys end up doing in the down payment process? Because you got a, $550,000 home. What did you guys end up putting down?
So the twins accelerated our timeline by a few months. We really weren't planning for the home purchase until 2026, but because they're due in February, we were like, we need to get this going.
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of changed our math. I originally wanted to go in and just get 20% down on a home, right? Let's get 20% down. Let's get ourselves in a really good vested position early, avoid PMI, which I understand is, not the end of the world. But before I got too many episodes into your podcast, David, that was my plan, right? And then as time went on, it was, okay, let's scale this back to 10%. We're going to need some cash in the bank just for emergencies, given that we have now 2 gigantic responsibilities landing in our laps really soon. So that was the plan. And even at 10%, with the home budgets we were looking at, or the home values we were looking at, kind of at the floor of 500K, we were still getting too close to zero in the savings for my liking, but I was going to be okay with, maybe a few months knowing we'd be in the house by December. We'd have a few months to rebuild some savings. And then by the time they get here, our team at Tuttle, when it came time to close, and once we had an address and he could start running some numbers for us, he brought us a 3% down home ready option, which, he just brought it to the table, said, hey, you might want to consider this. It's not going to make your all-in mortgage payment all that more expensive. I think it added $150 per month, versus a 10% down option, which the security of having more in the bank still after the home purchase, knowing we could go into 2026 with a really comfy, safety blanket, with 2 kids on the way, with unknown medical expenses on the way, with uncertain, economics going on in the world. It felt safer to us. And, after some time, we decided that was going to be our best bet. So total, that ended up going down, only being 3%. Of course, our equity isn't exactly where you'd want it to be, but we sleep better at night knowing we have cash. We have cash, on hand in case there's emergency. So, and that was an option we had no idea about. And our team at Tuttle here in Dallas, brought it to us, and we were so thankful that they did.
The great thing about, because I know them. What's funny is my local Southern California realtor, lender. I'm the realtor. Hi, I do this for a living. He's very good friends with Andy. Yeah, and they came up together and masterminded together and are colleagues. And it's very difficult for me to put into words how rare the individual is who can be there for the emotions of the ride, but also take an analytical person like yourself and go, this is going to sound wacky, but you have twins coming and I care about you. So I think, one, you're not going to get any sleep.
Yeah.
And so if I can help in any way for you to sleep a little better, then I know you're going to sleep better with $38,000 in the bank at $150 a month, which is what the difference between 3% and 7% is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's massive, and it changed everything just from a confidence standpoint, especially I had set our ceiling really, our budget ceiling at $550K. And I did not want to be at that, at that number for home value. Of course, I wanted to be below that, but as you see more and more homes, you strike out more and more, your budget seems to just like naturally creep up. And when we walked into this house, we knew pretty much immediately that it was going to be one we were going to put an offer in on. It was the only house we put an offer on. And I think we were the only offer on the house.
Yeah. I mean, luckily we got in pretty early. I think the house was on the market for about 7 days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's quick in this market.
Yeah. So we offered right at list, and 7 days later we were out of our option period, and we were just, kind of
7-day option period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was actually 5.
No, you're right. It was supposed to be 7. And then we did 5. And then we're like, we could do it in 5. And that 5th day, let me tell you.
Yeah. Friday. I never forget it. Bloody Friday, I call it.
Oh, okay. I really appreciate all that, because there's a bunch of people who never bought a home before and don't have any money, and there are options for people to buy homes for $5,000 or $10,000. What's freaky is at $550,000, you're coming in. What were your? Do you remember what your total all in was
on the cash to close?
Yeah,
I think total was 32K total.
So $32,000 is your down payment and closing costs for a $550,000 home.
Yeah,
that's unreal.
Yeah, felt like we were stealing.
Yeah.
Yes, and you will. You're accepting the new higher payment, which you guys saw in your pie charts was something that you could do. I'm assuming you guys did practice payments along the way at some point, which probably just putting it in your savings account.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that 5-day period. So everybody understands you put down your earnest money deposit, then you have X amount of days before that earnest money deposit then would go to the seller should you bail on the deal. So that's your buyer beware period. Sometimes in a tough market, or sometimes when you're trying to snag a home that's new and you want to get it for your price, instead of going, I'll give you 10,000 over list, your agent submits an offer with really strong terms. What was the Bloody Friday? It was Friday, right?
Yeah.
What happened on the Bloody Friday? So it's the last day before you have to say we're in or we're out.
Yeah.
And which meant you had to do inspections, appraisals, all that stuff. What were you guys waiting on? What was the bloodbath?
The inspection report. The house was remodeled pretty quickly, and we weren't able to get, we signed a contract on Sunday night, and we weren't able to get our inspector in until Wednesday. And
with a 5-day option period.
So, and then, he has to write his report. So our team at Sharp, they didn't get the report until Thursday morning.
Yeah.
And then they had to review it. We sent them, we all reviewed it together. Really, it came down to negotiating on home fixes, stuff that the flippers did not do a great job with. And there's plenty in this house they did a great job with. There's also plenty they did not do a great job with. So there was a lot of back and forth right down to the 5 p.m. wire. I felt
it was
like
5 p.m. on Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes it's midnight. I've sat in my office at 11:59 waiting.
Yeah.
Wow. So you had basically 24 hours.
Yeah. So that was an adventure. A lot of phone calls. You get really frustrated this is where having somebody like a unicorn was really important for us. Was James and Gloria, who we worked with on a day-to-day basis. We had so much confidence in them to be able to, speak on our behalf and negotiate our behalf, because you have no contact with the seller agent, right? Like you have to put your full trust in your agents to be able to get what you are asking for. And we had a lot of confidence in James to tell us where to push and where to pull and where to give up a little bit, and that was a big part of it. Was like, hey, where are we going to die? Like, what hill are we going to die on? Yep. What are we just going to let go? So we leaned on them a lot for that. And it was a huge part of the experience was the Sharp Real Estate Group's, professionalism and communication and really just overall experience in the marketplace was huge. So they made it easier. But yeah, I don't think I was not on the phone for more than 60 seconds that day.
Now, did you guys talk with Jules, their admin, as well? Or was she running stuff behind the scenes?
Mostly behind the scenes, but once we got through the option period, we felt like we talked to everybody at Sharp. Yeah. They were all over us, which was great because, as part of our journey, trying to find somebody to work with on the agent side was talking to a lot of friends and a lot of people that are solo acts in the business, right? Which, no knock against it. They're all hustling. I'm sure they're all really good at their job. But once we got down the road, into closing and we had to sign contracts with the Sharp Group, you really see the value of for us, it was super valuable having just people on the back end to really keep things going without having to rely on the one person who's also trying to close other deals. So that was a big part of it. It was just administrative support, team support, and having a big Rolodex of people was really huge.
It's very difficult for me to explain to people if your agent is a solo act, and there are some that manage it well and have things that they do. But part of the advantage of having a unicorn, and James I've known forever, and I flew out and did a webinar, a seminar for first-time homebuyers in Dallas, and got to hang out with his team. If I'm taking you guys to an inspection, that's 4 hours, or 3 hours, whatever it is. And having that full team and the systems in place, what I really like about the unicorns is there's also Dylan, Robin, you lit up when Dylan said communication.
Yes. Big. Our work styles, We love big communications.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's systematized care.
Yeah.
It's such an important factor. And I could do a whole 1 hour podcast with you on a 5-day option period.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks, oh my God, you also had 4 mountains of paperwork to do in those 5 days. The disclosures and everything else that you guys must have gone through.
Yeah. I think, just one point, another props to the Unicorn group that you have, Tuttle here in Dallas. We were so far ahead of the game with our status as lenders and, applicants, fast track program, stuff that they did here with that really just it put us in a position that when we signed the contract, there was no questions about, are we going to be able to get financing? We already had it secured. So, it helped that we started that process with them probably 60 days before we really started. It was probably 60 days from start to finish.
Yeah.
So I felt for a while, we probably both felt together. It was we were a little early. Yeah. We were bothering Tuttle and James a little early. Yep. Maybe we're hey, we're not quite ready to go make offers yet, but we really want to be involved and
be ready.
And be ready. And Tuttle really helped us do that so that when it came time to that 5-day option period, I had no stress about the lending side of the business of this whole deal. It was really great. It was just a matter of hey, can we get this home into a position that we're happy with?
Something that we talk about all the time, something I scream and yell on the podcast all the time is the right team wants to talk to you 12 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
You said the word bothering. I don't know if you saw, I don't have much hair left, but the ones on the back of my neck went up a little bit because now you can talk to your friends and go, anyone at the Tuttle group, anyone at the Sharp group, if you're buying in Dallas, you can call them 8 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
And they'll act like you're buying a home in 8 days. Yeah. And then they'll give you steps when you walk out the door and they'll check in with you. And that's what the entire real estate industry should do. But that's another story that I think I told 700 times. That is so encouraging and it makes me so happy. And one of the things that for people in your price point, with the amount that you guys potentially had coming in, looking at possibly 20%, maybe 10%, I don't know who started this whole don't talk to a lender because you need to have that 90-day lock. You guys came in, you weren't thinking about it. You did it that 90-day window. But the whole point is a great unicorn style lender isn't going to give you a full approval that first day. Mm-hmm. They're not going to give you a rate that now expires in 90 days. They're going to walk you through the process. And you also said something earlier that I loved for analytical folks, let's say, maybe people like you, Dylan. You do not get even close to accurate numbers until you give them an address.
Yeah.
And that
was
drives.
Hard. That was hard for me.
Yeah.
You fit the mold. I know the guys. And I've watched their heads explode as we're sitting in the office talking about homes we're going to see next weekend, and I can't give them exact numbers.
Yeah.
Because everything changes with taxes and the individual location of the property. But boy, there's so many lessons there. So now I'm going to go backwards and I want to ask what's it like as a couple with twins calling me in August in Dallas and then going, we have to go quickly. What was the home shopping like? Because Dylan, Robin, you obviously learned the catfishing.
Oh yeah.
But how many homes did you guys, what was the home shopping like?
I think what was big in the beginning and why we also said see as many homes as you can is it's easy to talk about them as a couple, right? What you like and what you don't like and what you're looking for. And Dylan and I quickly learned that when we started looking at homes, maybe we had different priorities. And so I think that was a very eye-opening experience. And we're okay, what are really your main things that are non-negotiable? What are my main things that are non-negotiable? So I think once we kept seeing homes again, seeing a lot, I think it helped us get back on the same page too of okay, this is what we're looking for. Dylan was really prioritizing space. He really wanted as much space. As you can say, we have 2 twins on the way. We don't have family that live here. And all Dylan could think of was Robin's mom is going to live with us for 3 months when these children get here. So I need space. So like we were just,
Dylan, you know, infants are small, right, dude? They don't take up a lot of room.
Not for long, man. It doesn't feel like it. Yeah. They have so much crap. Everybody keeps telling me about all the stuff they bring with them. So
I do not have a degree in psychology to help you through that, bud. I can tell because the struggle is real, baby. It's a lot.
It's a great point by Robin, though, because I think at the end of the day, we saw roughly like 30 to 40 homes.
Yeah.
That's inclusive of open houses that we went to go see by ourselves and stuff that we did on the weekends with Gloria, which was, at times just like 6-7 homes per weekend with her, just trying to get out, see him rapid fire. And Robin's totally right. Because you see some listings and you're like, oh, this looks great. And then I like it. She doesn't like it. Mm-hmm. And then vice versa or whatever it is. So there was a lot to learn in the first 15 to 20 homes. Right. And then, just a thing that really started to get in my head during the process was it is super, super overwhelming when you have all of the alerts possible on from Zillow and from Redfin and from homes.com. Yeah. And you are getting bombarded with new listings or price drops. And you feel like you can't keep up with a lot of it. And trust me, I made a spreadsheet for all that too. But still,
loves the spreadsheet.
tough to pull yourself away from it and see the bigger picture at times too. We took a vacation in the middle of our shopping journey. And I told myself before we went on vacation, oh, this is going to be great. I'll be able to like not think about this for a while. I should have deleted the apps because I looked at it every night,
Yeah. I saw him scrolling at 11 p.m. and I'm like, hey, remember we're on that vacation?
Yeah. So it was really easy. It's really easy to get sucked all the way in and not be able to see anything except listings and listings and listings. And then almost to the point where you could have so many listings in your favorites that you might just skip over one that you see in person that was a gem, right? Like, and you start to get a little blinded by it all. So that part of the journey was taxing, totally exhausted by the end of it. Mentally, I couldn't have been more excited to shut off all the notifications and alerts and delete the apps and just be done with all that part of it. That was one of the biggest reliefs. So, just if there's any advice to listeners, it's just be centered in the whole process and try not to feel overwhelmed. Pull yourself out of it a few days a week. If you're in the middle of the thick of it, pull yourself out of it, take a deep breath.
And communicate.
Yeah. Speak to your partner if you're buying a home with your partner.
Yeah. I think that was probably where we had some hard conversations of okay, so this house that I really like, you really don't like. So I think it kind of comes down to really just being on the same page and making sure that not compromising too much, but you're also being very verbal about what's important to you. Cause at the end of the day, this is a big investment for both of you. And you want to see that tenure and, appreciation.
I think the thing that is difficult to explain to people, but they eventually come to the realization on their own is I have the people that have the spreadsheets and they're trying to it cost per square foot to figure out which home is the best value. Mm-hmm. And probably the meshing of the lists, the non-negotiable lists really takes walking through homes together.
Yes.
And it might take 2 Saturdays because the first Saturday you might walk through all the homes in one neighborhood because they're geographically close. Yeah. And then the next weekend or Sunday, you go and look at some and suddenly it's a completely different style of home. And that's when you find your first point where you guys aren't aligned. And what's interesting is I'm sure that Robin, you saw the steam coming out of his head.
Oh, yeah.
As suddenly the price point went, he's not only meshing lists, but now the price point's going to his top number. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. Which, you mentioned earlier, David, not the anxiety of not knowing the exact number because we didn't have an address. Mm-hmm. I asked the total group a couple of times, hey, what do you guys, what's a good mortgage calculator or forecaster, that I can use? And they sent me one off their site, which was helpful. but you get to pick your own interest rate. You get to pick you just play with, you do whatever you want with the thing. So I'm like, I'm not really.
It's the HOA and the taxes.
Yeah.
That,
taxes,
I mean, you pick your own interest rate, but that's the thing, because like the whole math of what we were talking about with 10% to 5% or 20% to 10% to 3%, there's interest rate changes in there too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally.
So there's that. And then there's taxes. Yeah. We have them and we use them, but way back in, 2021, I recorded an episode. Online mortgage calculators are garbage.
Yeah.
Because
that's how I felt.
For someone like you, it is.
Yeah.
Accuracy.
It's hard not to use them. It's hard not to want to go on and play with them because you think you're going to unlock something or feel better about something, but it never did. Yeah.
Oh, say that for me again.
It never gave me any of that satisfaction that I was looking for.
The down payment side is the same thing. Mm-hmm. I think people stop themselves, even though their life is like yours, which, by the way, congratulations on paying for the wedding, paying for the honeymoon, and having twins. And then, and now you have a home for, like, you guys doing that all on your own. I know that you guys are going to be able to handle twins. I think that was the universe going, these guys can take it. So, all right, now I just am curious. Robin, he wanted space. What did you want?
I just wanted it to be modern. Like, all I wanted was modern fixtures, like light flooring. Like, we saw a home that had like completely dark flooring and it just felt dark in there. And I was like, I want to be in a home that I can feel like I don't have to leave. And I think too, I was thinking of my maternity leave. I'm like, I'm going to be going insane. So I just need like a place that I can like be comfortable and really enjoy being like at and not feel like a dungeon.
Dylan, you didn't make a spreadsheet on how much it costs per square foot to change light floors to dark floors? In case you loved the house.
That was never on the table. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So this must have become a big part of your negotiations then. Robin had the flipper home, which has a lot of the modern conveniences, or modern style, I should say. But there was some things that maybe weren't done correctly. So that was a team compromise?
Yeah, it really, like, the compromise came during our own negotiation between Robin and I. We had our own several negotiation meetings where it was, okay, we can get space, but it's not going to be updated, which, checked my space box, but not her updates box. And where we could have most of the homes we saw that were updated were smaller. I work from home. We needed at least one room where I could just work out of, Yeah. And so a three bedroom house wasn't going to cut it. So, we were trying to find the perfect house that had 4 to 5 bedrooms, but also was recently renovated. And that was just nearly impossible to find. But the house that we're sitting in now really did check those boxes. David, like you said, we did have to deal with some crappy flipper stuff, right? Like, it was just some shortcuts, some stuff that, we had some licensed professionals come in and do some fixing pretty shortly after we closed, just to make sure, the house isn't going to just catch on fire because the same guy did the electrical and the plumbing, it's like, So, So
but that's like the choices. That's the choices that people who haven't been through this don't understand is that like, if it's a plumbing issue, okay, well, over there, we won't use that for the first little while, but let's get the electrical in first because that could be a fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you got, how is it 4 beds?
5.
5 bedroom for 5? Dang.
It's the biggest house we saw. It almost didn't make sense. Like, the price for the square footage in the bedrooms,
Were you looking for red flags?
Yeah. Dylan was.
Yeah. Trust me, we found some.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, that also comes back to the 3% down gave us the ability to say, okay, we're going to negotiate as much as we can, possibly. At the end of the day, we didn't want to walk away from this house.
Yeah.
But we knew we had to be prepared for that. Negotiate as hard as possible, get what we can. And then we know, okay, because we only put 3% down, if we have to come out of pocket for something that's absolutely necessary, we can do that. and it's not going to kill us.
I think what helped too is like Dylan, our home negotiation was because of the like things that maybe they didn't do. I think we felt really good of like, well, when we do leave this house, it's going to be in like the best shape because like we're going to be able to make those updates. And like when someone comes in, they're not going to be like, this has been a crappy flip, or like, wow, like this is actually a gold mine and we're grabbing something great. So I think that like made us also very interested in just kind of like moving forward and investing our own money, like on the side of like what those updates look like.
Homeowner tip for Dylan, spreadsheet nerd, get on this. Every single thing that you do to renovate the home, pictures before and after, receipts, all of it, because for two things, taxes, three things, taxes, refi, and removing the PMI. Your receipts and your documentation will add to the value when the appraiser comes out for all of those things. So definitely keep all that.
I had that logged in my memory from your show.
Good.
Yeah, we're going to get a home binder. It's just going to be like our things of just stuff.
It is the dumbest thing in the world, but I cannot explain to people. A home binder will make you, depending on the price of your home, $25,000 to $50,000 when you sell it. I'm not kidding. I've been on both sides. I've helped the sellers, but the buyers, when they see a binder, all those catfish homes you walk into, can you imagine what that escrow is going to be like? Or that escrows in California, what that under contract period is going to be like?
Yeah.
The assurance it gives the buyer. We put them out at open houses.
Yeah.
And that silly little binder is going to make you tens of thousands of dollars. And while you're a homeowner, it's going to make you money with the PMI and the refinances and the retaxation. So go for it. Robin, let him fill it up. And then, you just decorate it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
We have very specific roles. Yeah. This is the finance guy and the receipt tracker. And I just bring the aesthetics.
Well, you got a 5-bedroom, you got the space.
Mm-hmm.
It's cut up differently, but that's incredible. And so, all right, last thing then I've got to know. So it was a quiet Thanksgiving and now you guys are hosting. So was your family out here as well?
No, Robin's family's in California still. My family's on the East Coast, where I'm originally from. I have an aunt and uncle here in Texas, down in Austin, but we made this jump here to Texas kind of pretty independently of just like, hey, we're going to have to go and figure this out on our own here. But it was still pretty much a no-brainer and not something I think a year into it either of us regret. It was like, let's just go do it. But yeah, we're excited to have them here for Christmas. But I'll tell you this, David, we already had a trial run. I mean, more than a trial run. We hosted Robin's baby shower here at the house on Saturday, just 3 days ago, with 40 people here at the house. So we put this house 3 weeks after we moved in, we put this house through the ring of fire to see if it was going to make it out the other side, and did great.
Yeah, it performed well. And everyone was shocked that we've only been here for 3 weeks. And we're like, we did a lot.
Yeah.
Stress test, huh?
Yeah. Stress test. There you
go. It's funny because we different inspectors do things different ways, but one of the inspectors I had used to come in and the first thing he would do is just go on and turn every faucet on at every shower and and people are like, what are you doing? And he's like, Thanksgiving. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah. We tested all the guest showers.
Heard the water pressure's great. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Made sure they all
got so funny when your house is new, what people will say to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
So Robin, you must be exhausted. You had a baby shower in a house in 3 weeks.
Yep. I've been pretty tired, but we're keeping alive. We're going. I take naps, and nice. Early, so we're doing all right.
What'd you guys do with all the stuff? You must have got so much crap. Do you have enough space to put it somewhere?
It's currently just boxes. At least they're open now, but they're all in the nursery that we essentially need to start organizing. So,
yeah.
So dad tip, you're going to get a bazillion. There's only two I tell people. One is Happiest Baby on the Block or Happiest Baby. I think it was a DVD because I'm old back when I had it. It's magic. It's about the fourth trimester when the baby comes out. You recreate the jacuzzi, and when you can't sleep, when there's 5 S's, it's like put them on their side, swaddle them, sway them, and then you go shh in there. I swear to God, you watch the video on the website and you'll see the kids go like it's a hypnosis trick. It's real. Doesn't work all the time, but when it does, amen. And then number 2, for the nursery, you're never, ever, 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 ever needing all that space. Jam pack it. Don't have floor space. Don't have any. Jam pack it. And in your closet, remember the awesome thing about closets, even for twins, is that for the first 3 or 4 years, it could be one on the top and one on the bottom. I see so much wasted space in kids' closets as a realtor, where people do need to understand how to go more vertical.
Yeah. We've been looking up closet hacks lately. That's been my TikTok search engine. I said, look at what you're going to build soon, Dylan.
Yeah.
So,
you know, the best Scandinavian and Japanese. The Scandinavian people, because they're psycho with furniture, like they have the tables that you open up that turn into like 7 different things, and the chairs that fold away like almost completely up against the wall. Yeah. But they're still really cool chairs. And the Japanese, because it's an island and they need room. Yeah. So like start another into your algorithm, another search for those places, or space-saving furniture. Yes. Like if you say that, you'll see some crazy stuff. It's great. Yeah. Because in Southern California, I had to do that with my people who thought they were going to get the picket fence. And I'm like, so you work at Disneyland. Cool. We're getting a 2-bedroom condo in Anaheim because that's all you can afford for $700,000.
Yeah. Come to Texas. Just tell them that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no taxes. And the job market worked out for you guys, so it's a good deal.
Yeah. No, the timing was right. Yeah. Which, so much of it, you have to ignore the timing for so much of this kind of stuff, but at the same time, you need some things to kind of line up for you, and that's, and we both feel really lucky that it did. So that was a big part of it.
Well, the exciting thing about this is that, you guys went through the struggle, which, is figuring out what are we doing? And, you're sitting pretty close. So I think everything worked out.
Worked out. She still talks to me. She doesn't make me sleep in one of the other 4 bedrooms.
Nope. Not yet.
Not yet. I'm just grinning ear to ear. There are so many millennials out there that don't feel like the American dream is in their grasp. And you guys have a lot going on, and you've already done so much. And no, there isn't a sexy, woohoo, we bought a house for $50,000 less. But because you saw 30 and 40 houses, you said this was a steal. You were looking for red flags because you had the team to support you, validate all those thoughts. And the really sexy part is going to come when Robin gets to look at your spreadsheet in 5 years. And then Robin, look at him with both kids grabbing you at that point when they're screaming and go, run a spreadsheet of how much we'd pay if we were still renting.
Yeah. True.
Can't thank you guys enough. Really, really appreciate it. And enjoy your holiday season, and send me pictures of the twins.
We will. And a big thank you to you too, David. I was really lost at the beginning of this process, and podcasts are the best way for me to absorb information. And I think finding your podcast really unlocked a lot of confidence for myself, which was important just because I knew I was going to be, in a lot of the weeds of it all. And so I think your podcast is a really, really excellent resource for first-time home buyers. It's current, it's up to date, it's informed, and it's something that I'm going to continue to listen to, as even as somebody that currently owns them. So I will be recommending you to anybody that will listen to me. So yeah, thank you. And thank you for having us on the show. This is really fun. Can't wait to listen to it back and be,
and cringe at my voice.
Cringe at our own voices.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Robin, you're not going to cringe. You have the line of the year with the catfishing, plus little jabs at your hubby, which are my favorite part of couple interviews. But I get it. But just Dylan, every once in a while when you're having a stress day at work and you're standing in your home, go, hey, honey, by the way, when things suck at work, this is a really pretty house.
Yeah.
Because, and it's such, I'm so glad to, and I appreciate that. And truly, I do want to lift up as many people as I can, but the lost middle class it's been my bread and butter because I sold homes in Southern California.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that medium worked for you, I'm so glad, because there are millions of people like you guys that are listening to the news and don't have the hope. Now, I can't just feed hope, I mean, as I record, this is going to air next year, but today, Jerome Powell, the Fed, one more time as I'm recording this. So I'll be in my dungeon all night long researching and figuring out what's going to happen, because his post comments weren't as exciting as I thought they were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So keep listening. And we're also going to start a group for all the homies and get you guys together to talk about home ownership.
Cool.
And you all can talk to each other about how contractors are the devil and never come on time and rehabbing. But you don't have to, because Robin got her modern house. Yep. So
sure did.
That's awesome. Okay. Thank you guys. This was fantastic. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, I want to give big thanks to Dylan and Robin for helping inspire everybody out there. If you think you got a lot going on in your life, these guys moved cross country, got married, and they're having twins. Everybody can find the right path to do this. It might not be as quickly as they did, but you're going to be able to find a way. Go to howtobuyahome.com. If you've got questions, hit Ask David, or you can ask for your unicorn team. If you got a minute, please write us a review. It really helps other people find us. And we love to be able to share these stories of optimism, hope, and of course, the main message, you can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyahome.com to get started.